Okay, I'm back. I had to do another device, so I know that the enemy probably don't want me to tell this testimony, but I'm gonna tell it if I have to record it and post it. So hopefully this will work out. So if you were on, come back. I think I tagged some people. I tried. Let's see. Let me invite some people in case that did not work, because I don't really know. I'm not good at this, and apparently my laptop does not work good. So if you're coming on, say hey again. I'm back. Hey Nicole, I see you. I'm not gonna be long. I just want to share this testimony as I was doing, and then my live just cut off. So if you were on there on that other one, come back. I just want to share what happened to me. What happened to me this week. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. So grateful to God for this. So I'm not gonna be long at all. So let me go back again. I'm a detailed person, so I will probably add a lot of details. But anyway, so backing up to getting ready to go on maternity leave to have Chloe, and I reached out to my job. Does not have a maternity leave, a paid maternity leave, and so I knew that was the case. Hey cuz, love you. And so me and Jonathan, we had already made preparations for me to be on leave without pay for 12 weeks. 12 weeks of unpaid leave was what was happening. And even in that, the Lord was in it. God was blessing us. My daddy, he filled our deep freezer. He bought us a deep freezer, for one. He didn't just fill up a freezer. He bought us a deep freezer. He filled it up with food. So we literally are still eating that food. And Chloe will be 6 months old in just a few days. So God was even in all of that. So I wasn't really, at first I was fussing about the unpaid leave, but I'm like, it is what it is. And so we were prepared to handle it either way. Well, before I left work, I reached out to this girl in our HR department, and I asked her, I said, what are your policies? She told me that the leave was unpaid. I said, well, okay. At a previous former job, I was able to take FMLA leave or short-term disability. And she told me that I did qualify for a small branch FMLA leave, and that my leave would still be unpaid, but my job would be secured. That they would not take my position at the job would be secured. That's basically all that really did. So anyway, I'm on leave. We fast forward, and I go out to have Chloe. I'm on leave. I'm off work I come to week 11. I'm at like week 11, and I get a message from my boss, and he was like, hey, the people at our main branch said that you were supposed to be back at work last week. So I'm a little confused, because before I left, I had sent out messages, emailing, and I'm like, what do I need to do? Do I need to put anything in place? Do I need any type of paperwork? Anything, all of the things. They told me no. They said the only thing that you need to do is let us know what date you're leaving and what date you're coming back. And in the email, we talked about me leaving for 12 weeks unpaid. All right, cool. So while I'm on leave, I had been getting checks, which was kind of weird. The first couple checks was okay, because they changed up how we were getting paid. And so I figured, I'm like, okay, well, this is just, they changed us up from getting paid monthly to us getting paid every 2 weeks. So I figured the first couple checks that I got was because of the change in pay. I really wasn't focused on work. I wasn't worried about work. So I just happened to look at our little app that we use for clocking in and stuff, and I see that they have taken, which I went on leave maybe the third week in December. And so I'm on leave as the new year rolls around. So as the new year rolls in, whatever PTO, paid time off, you have for the year clicks back in on the 1st of January. So what they had done was taken my paid time off for the year 2025, and they had put it in whatever this thing that they were doing. I don't know, but they were putting it in there for me to get paid, which I was already prepared to not be paid. I was cool with it. I need my PTO for the year because I got 3 small children. Anything can happen. I need my time off work. So when I figured out that was happening, wasn't really essentially nothing that I could do about it. So I had a dream before I went back to work that something was going to be happening with work. I didn't really know what, so I started praying, against whatever the enemy was trying to do, because I knew, because of the dream that I had, that something was going to be happening. So a week or two after the dream, I get a text message from my boss, and he was like, "Hey, when are you coming back to work?" Mind you, we had already set these dates, and so I give him the date again. The next day, my boss didn't really say much back, but the next day, I get a call from our big man in the main office that's out of town. So he calls me personally. He like, "Hey, you were supposed to be back at work last week." This is like week 10 of the leave. He's like, "You were supposed to be back at work last week. The unpaid leave that you took was only supposed to be 8 weeks. You were confused. You didn't know what was happening." He starts telling me all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, that was not the case. Because I have email documentation where I was emailing back and forth with him. He was one of the people in the emails, and this other girl. And we were talking about me taking 12 weeks unpaid. We discussed this in emails. So I'm getting upset. I'm not even going to lie. I was getting mad. So yes, Larry, I knew that from a former bank, but they did not ask me. They didn't give me the option. They just did it. None of that was discussed as far as the PTO. And I knew, I had that knowledge that if they did that it was supposed to be my choice, me deciding that. So, anyway, so he tells me I'm supposed to be back at work, and I tell him, I said, well, my daughter I think she had her 8-week appointment coming up the following week, and to get her shots or whatever. So long story short, they made me get all this documentation saying that I couldn't come back to work then. But he needed me to come back to work ASAP. So I hang up the phone with him. I'm upset, and I go and I log into my work email, and I find the emails where we were corresponding back and forth about the 12-week unpaid leave, right? So I send him those messages, and I gotta be honest, and I gotta be transparent. I really wanted to be real nasty. I wanted to be nasty, and I wanted to be ugly, and I wanted to be like, look at what y'all did. I got this. You thought I didn't have it, but I have. I wanted to be real ugly, but I couldn't. I wrote it real professional and nice, and I sent the email to him. And I said, so after I moved up my baby's Chloe's doctor's appointment. I moved it up so I could get on back to work. Did all the things, sent him the email. He ended up calling me back a couple days later, on Monday morning, and he was like, "Hey, I got your email. I see where we were talking, and we're just gonna chuck it up to a misunderstanding, but you get back to work as soon as you can." He said, "Now, when you come back to work, you don't have any more PTO for the rest of the year. So you just gonna have to do what you're gonna have to do." Now, I'm a little frustrated, but I gotta go back to work. So I'm getting ready to go back to work. And there's another situation that had happened in 2023 that I'm not really feeling led to share at this moment, but this was kind of a result of, this was kind of piling on to something that had already happened in 2023. I'll share that when I'm led to later. So anyway, I get back to work. I got back to work the first Monday in March. But I've been back at work now 3.5 months, with no paid time off. So I've taken 2 days, but the days that I've taken have been unpaid. And so this whole time I've been online looking for jobs. I'm mad. I'm looking for jobs because I'm mad at them. I can't believe they did this. I can't believe I'm leaving out some stuff, but I was mad. I'm not even gonna lie. I felt like, right. I felt, betrayed, to say the least. I felt like kind of muzzled. I felt like there was nothing that I could do. These people don't know me. The people at our main branch, they don't know me. There's only 5 people who work in our branch. So these people don't know me. And so my prayer became, I just don't want somebody else to be going through this. So I was asking God to fix their policy. God, fix their policy. People need leave, and to be taking care of their families, taking care of their children. I got small children. How am I supposed to go through this year without leave? And so I'm literally taking it day by day. And so my prayer had just became for God to change up their policies. Well, maybe a month and a half ago, something like that, we get an email, and they're sending out this, we're changing up the policies. for our leave. We don't have paid maternity leave. They were basically reiterating what had happened. So when I get back to work, this was a misunderstanding. You back at work, we cool, but just know you ain't got no more time to take off. All right, cool, whatever. I'm still mad, so I'm looking for jobs. I'm fussing, I'm complaining. I'm not gonna lie about fussing and complaining, because I was. And as much as I fussed and complained, I prayed even more. And I really wasn't even praying for really anything for me. I just wanted the policies got to change, because that's wrong. So anyway, coming on to Friday, God was telling me to be still. Every time I would get in prayer about it, or even talk to my friends about it, it's like, be still. You know, God is going to avenge you. God is going to fight for you. He's going to work on your behalf. And even when I would think those scriptures through, be still and know that I am God. Even when I would think that through, it's like, God, I know that you are God, but what is there for you to do in this situation? And I just kept saying, Lord, I know you see. Lord, I know you see me. Lord, I know you see this situation. Lord, I know that you knew that this was going to happen. And so now, Lord, I need you to intervene. That was my prayer. And anyway, I was going to work, doing what I had to do. So anyway, we fast forward to this past Friday. I had gone to lunch, and when I came back to lunch, my coworker was like, your phone was ringing, but I didn't answer it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Whoever it was, they'll call back. So I'm helping a customer. I hear the phone ring, and somebody else picked it up. And I heard them say, yeah, give her just a second. She's helping a customer. So I get done with my customer, and my coworker said, big boss, we just gonna call him Bob Smith. She said, Bob Smith wants you to call him. Bob Smith want me to call him. Mind you, Bob Smith is the man. So when Bob Smith want you to call him, y'all finna fire me? So when they said Bob Smith said call, I'm like, me and my other coworker, we look at each other like, what Bob Smith want you to call him for? So anyway, I get on the phone. I ring Bob Smith line. I call him back, and I'm like, hey, Bob Smith, I was told that you were trying to call me. I'm calling you. I'm returning your call. He was like, hey, Christina, how are you? I said, I'm doing good. How are you? He goes, I'm good. And it's Friday the 13th. And everybody says that this is supposed to mean something bad, but I got something real good for you. So I'm like, okay. He's like, you remember when you went back on maternity leave at the end of last year? I said, yes. He said, well, I've been thinking about you since you came back to work. He said, and he said a lot, so I'm trying to remember. He said, I've been thinking about you since you came back to work, and I've been doing some research. He said, you've been on my mind, and I've been doing some research. And he said, it looks like, Megan, he said, it looks like not many places even offer paid maternity leave anymore. He said, but as I've been doing research, I've been looking around, he said, and he mentioned somebody else who is currently like expected right now. He said, but I have made some changes to our policy. He said, we now have I'm now implementing a paid maternity leave. So when he says that to me, I'm like, okay, great. That's good. You know, that's what I had been praying for. That's what I wanted. Thank you. And I'm like, oh, that's great. He tells me that this other girl is pregnant. I said, all right, tell her congratulations. And I'm still thinking, I'm excited because God has answered my prayer, because I wanted the policy to change. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, what they got to do with me? Because my leave is over. My leave is done. I'm back at work. I've been back at work for 3.5 months. So he proceeds to go on to say, he said, we want to keep our good workers. And he said, now, I don't know if you have taken any time off this year since you've been back at work. I said, yes, I have. I had to take 2 days. I said, so I've taken those 2 days. He said, well, I want to give you your PTO back. Y'all. He said, I want to give you your PTO back. And he said, the 2 days that you've already taken, we'll pay you for them. So I'm going to give you, we get 18 days for the year. He said, I'm going to give you 16 days of paid time off back for the year. He said, if you don't use it, then you can roll it into, they have this thing called CIP. You can roll it into CIP, and you can use that if something else comes over, because otherwise the time does not roll over. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? So now I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is good news. Not only have they changed the policy, and he said, because of you, we changed the policy, and I want to give you your days back. So I'm like, okay, great. This is great. This is awesome. And I didn't know, I was speechless. So then he proceeds to say, he said, how long have you been working here? I said, I've been working here for 3 years. I said, I started in April of 2022. He said, okay, so on our new policy, he said, it's not for people coming off of the street. He said, but this new paid maternity leave, you have to have been with the bank 2 years. He said, but what I also want to do for you, Christina, I want to give you your PTO back. He said, and then I'm going to pay you for 8 weeks of maternity leave. I'm going to give you your PTO back. Do y'all hear me? And I want to pay you for 8 weeks that you took of maternity leave. Man, and I could not say anything. And I am in complete awe of God. I'm in complete awe of the Lord. I'm grateful to God. I'm thankful to God, because he could have changed the policy and he didn't have to think about me, but God put me on his mind. He did not have to think about me. He does not know me. He has never seen me before. If he walked in front of me now, I would not know who he was. And he did not. God put me on his mind. And my prayer was not even a selfish prayer for myself. But this man said, I'm giving you your PTO back for the year, and I'm going to pay you for 8 weeks of maternity leave. Y'all, he didn't have to do that. My maternity leave is over. I'm back at work. I've been back at work, taking it one day at a time, and still praying that prayer. Still praying for my coworkers. Still just doing things and saying, Lord, I know that you're going to avenge me, because that is what your word says. Because I take you at your word. And if I had done what I wanted to do and just and every day I would tell Jonathan, I would say, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be at this bank. And like I said, the thing that happened in 2023, that's another story for another day. I don't even want to get into all of that. But after all of that stuff happened, I said, I don't want to be here no more. I want to leave. But God just kept saying, be still. He kept saying, be still. That's all he would say. He would not even let me. I wanted to send an email out to corporate. I wanted to send an angry email to my boss. I wanted it to be ugly. I'm just being honest. I wanted to be ugly to him. I wanted to roll my eyes when I came in the morning and be mad and upset. But God would not let me do it. Every morning I'm walking in and I'm smiling. I'm saying good morning. I'm even smiling, laughing, joking, like nothing is even bothering me. But deep down, this is bothering me. And I'm like, Lord, I know you see this. God, I know you see this. And I'm still basking in everything that God did, like literally. And he could have just went forth the present time, because you had others in mind in your prayer. God has to honor your prayer. He's so faithful to his children. This is, yeah. It's just, and my mind is absolutely blown, because who does that? Who does that? But God, what kind of love is this? What manner of man is this? And so I'm hoping and I'm praying that just as God has used this to increase my faith, and even if all the other things that I'm believing him for in my life that seem impossible, that seem like this does not happen. This does not happen. I'm here to tell you, with God, anything is possible with God. There's nothing that God cannot do. He will not do. He won't do. And I tell you that it pays to live right. It pays to live right. It pays to treat people right. It pays. I'm telling you, the Bible tells us that the prayers of the righteous availeth much. So it pays for us to live right. And when God says to be still, it does not mean to just physically be still. Sometimes we have to still the thoughts in our mind. Sometimes we have to still the negativity. Sometimes we have to have that self-control that we have by the Spirit of the Lord inside of us. We have to exercise that self-control. And say, I'm not going to send this email. I'm not going to send this text. I'm not going to be nasty today, but I'm going to be still and have faith and trust that you are God, that you are who you say that you are to me and in my life. And this is not the only thing that God has done. And this is not the only thing that he is going to do. I'm still believing God for some supernatural things. I'm still believing God to turn some things around that seem impossible. But he is saying to me, he is showing me, daughter, I'm with you. I hear you. I see you. And I'm telling you, and it might just seem minor to some people, but in even PTO, even just a day to take off to rest. And God has done it for me. And I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to God. I owe him everything, all that I am. I owe it to him, and not just because he did this, but because of who he is. He is a good father. He is a loving and kind, Father, and he is a man of war, and he will avenge us. Come on. The word says the train of his robe fills the temple. There's nothing that he won't do. There's no battle that he will not win, that he has not won. Y'all got to understand. I want y'all to understand. When God says to be still, do what he says to obey him. And that I've never seen the righteous forsaken, never seen his seed begging for bread. So even in the hard seasons, and even in things that look bleak and dim, and it's like, Lord, I've been dealing with this, and it's just something. It's just something, because they could have changed their policy. They could have changed their policy and not thought about me. And my prayer would have been answered when I got that email that said, hey, we've changed the policy. I don't have nothing to wipe my eyes with, but when I got the email that said, hey, we changed our policy, that would have been cool with me. I would have been fine, because I was doing what I had to do. And then this man said, I want to give you back your PTO. He said, I've been thinking about you since you've been back to work. You don't even know me. But God knows. And he heard me, and he answered me. And I've just been humble before him. And I just love God so much, and I'm just hoping God remembered me. That's it, sis. God remembered me, and I'm sorry I got so emotional doing this, but I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to God for what he has done. He did not have to do that. He said, I'm giving you your PTO back, and then I'm going to pay you for 8 weeks of maternity leave. Wow. My mind is just blown. I'm just in awe of God, and I hope that even in me sharing this, that somebody's faith will rise and increase. And when God says to be still, still your mind on the word, and constantly chew and meditate on his word, and know that you can take him at his word. And if he said it, it's true. If he said it, it's true. And even in my frustrations, even in the moments where I wanted to be mad and angry, yes, ma'am. Yes, definitely, definitely, Miss Renee. That's the truth. That's the truth. And even in some of my other frustration with other things that have gone on, there, I still every day, I go in there sometimes, and I'm just like, ain't nothing to do. So sometimes I open my Bible, and I remember my boss that came over and told me I can't be reading out in front of people. So I put my Bible on my phone, or I was able to pull it up on my computer for a little while, and I could read and study that way. But then they changed where you can't access anything but work-related stuff on the computers. So I started back bringing in my Bible. I was just like, I'm just going to have to, I'll bring it until he say not to again. But what they did, the person that sits next to me every day, she said, what kind of Bible is that? I've been needing me a Bible. I need to, I need to get closer to the Lord. I want to get closer to God. What kind of Bible is that? And I was sharing with her about the Bible. And she ended up buying one for herself and buying one for somebody else. So even in small things like that, I'm grateful to God for doing those things. But I just wanted to share the testimony, and even God saying to be still. And that's huge. That's huge to me. It's huge to me. It's huge to me, because God did that. God did. All glory to God, no glory to me. I have not done anything that nobody else would do, other than just, if we all do, I hope, just take God at his word. If he says be still, I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm being still. I would go in the bathroom. And I say, Lord, you told me to be still, and that's what I'm doing. I'm like, I know you see this. And that's just how I talk to God. I'm like, Lord, I know you see this. You told me to be still, and that's what I'm doing. I've been being quiet. I have not done what I wanted to do. And I had been filling out a few applications out of my frustration. And I'm like, how am I supposed to work all year with 3 small children and not have any PTO? I was missing stuff that Joy had going on at her school because I did not have the time to take off. And it was getting a bit frustrating. The 2 days that I did take were days that I absolutely had to take, and I didn't have a choice. And even in that, my boss was like, well, And we do, I left this off a little bit, but we do get end of year bonuses. But if you use all your PTO, they will take your bonus. That has happened to me before. And I was like, man, I know I'm probably not going to get no bonus at the end of the year because of all of this. But like I said, I was at the point just taking it day by day and just praying, you know, Lord, to just change these policies because this is not right. And that was my prayer. I did not know what God was going to do. I didn't know God was going to do this to that extent. But I'm grateful. And I just want to encourage y'all that when God says to be still, it pays to be still. It pays to practice the self-control that we all have. It's a fruit of the Spirit of the Lord, Spirit of God on the inside of us. The self-control, the love, the joy, the peace, patience, kindness, patience, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Galatians 5:22, the fruit of the Spirit. We all have that with the Spirit of God living inside of us. And so it just pays. It pays to live right. It pays to treat people right. It pays to do people right. It pays to, and sometimes you have to sit down and talk with the Lord, and you have to say, okay, God, I'm frustrated today. I need you to help me. And I'm still, and even after this, my faith has increased for other things that I've been praying for other things that I want to see God move in. My faith has increased for those things, and I want y'all to just be encouraged by this testimony, and I hope that it has helped. I hope that it has helped you as I have shared what God has done for me this week, and I'm just excited. I'm gonna be putting in some PTO days. And I'm gonna be a good steward of the back pay that they are giving me, that they absolutely did not have to do. But when God moves on hearts of people, to move on your behalf, then that's what they have to do. Yep. Yes. Hey, Miss V, I love you. Yeah, so that's what it has to be. That's what it has to be. That's what it has to be. And like I said, it's all glory to God. All glory to Him. All glory belongs to God. I didn't do anything. I'm not any different from anybody else. All glory to God for doing what He did. And I just was obedient and still when He said to be still. I didn't fight like I wanted to fight to try to avenge myself and prove my point. So yeah, I gotta get off of here. I gotta get off of here, but I love y'all, and I hope that somebody was encouraged and share this with somebody. And there will be more to come, I'm sure, because I'm believing God for the impossible, because this was it. This was it. I'm believing God for the impossible. Believe Him for the impossible. The impossible is possible with God, in God. And you know, live holy before the Lord. Live righteous. Do the best that you can. The Spirit of the Lord will help you. Will help you to sustain you. To live a holy life, because all of the things, it pays. And if you are in any sin, repent and turn. And you will see. You can see the hand of the Lord, because He wants to bless His children. He wants to bless His own. And even the small things that we are concerned with, God is concerned with them. Even the little things. But glory to God. I wanted to give God glory, and I hope that somebody's faith has increased as I shared this testimony. But I love y'all, and I will see y'all. I'll see y'all on Coach to Coach again. This coming Friday at 8 o'clock. Me and my sister, Coach Megan McCarter. My lovely, she's my sister for real. And I love her, and she have a lot of wisdom. She has a lot of wisdom, and she's a wonderful, amazing coach. She'll be coming on to share what God's put on her heart. So join us this Friday at 8. This coming Friday at 8 p.m. we'll be on for our Coach to Coach. Yes, ma'am, Miss Renee, I'm started on a couple. I gotta finish them. I'm going to. Even when you don't understand, still trust Him and watch what He. Yes, ma'am. That's true, Miss V. So y'all, I'll see y'all Friday. If anything else good happens, I'll be back to share, to give God his glory, give him what he is due. So share this with somebody. I love y'all, and I will see y'all later. Bye.